Senator the Honourable Kevin Ramnarine, Minister of Energy and Energy Affairs. Senator the Honourable Razia Ahmad, Minister of State in the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Child Development. Other distinguished captains of industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am Conrad Enil, and I'm pleased to be a host for the Inaugural Energy Lecture Series. Energy, energy resources, energy efficiency, energy sustainability continues to be at the forefront of agendas across the globe. Effectively balancing the demands of providing an affordable, sustainable, and secure energy supply continues to play a key role in the development of countries. Driven by the boundary constraints of economic development, geography, and prosperity, countries are striving to find new and innovative ways to meet the demands of their energy system. Today, we commence a journey which we anticipate will be an annual or perhaps a biennial event on the future of energy, with the inaugural topic being Energy Trends to 2025. To deliver welcome remarks, I invite Professor Clem Sankat, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, and Chairman, Board of Directors of the Arthur Lockjack School of Business. Professor Sankat, please.
Thank you very much, our chair this evening, Mr. Conrad Enil, a former Minister of Energy himself, and Minister of Energy and Energy Affairs, Senator the Honourable Kevin Ramnarine, Senator the Honourable Razia Ahmad, Minister of State in the Minister of Gender, Youth and Child Development, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Affairs, Mr. Selwyn Lashley. I must recognize our host, the Executive Director of the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, Professor Miguel Carrillo, the Chairman of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Roopchand Chedi Singh, President of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Indar Maharaj, President of the Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Roger Packer, the President of Petrotrin, Mr. Khalid Hassan Ali, the Chairman of NP, Mr. Neil Gusain, Executive Director of the Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Dax Driver, my fellow board members from the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, members from the public and private sectors, and several captains of industry who are present here, specially invited guests. I must recognize our students, many of whom are in the MBA programs of this Graduate School of Business. I want to especially recognize the alumni of the UWI, and I know many of you are alumni of the UWI. And to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a very good evening. And as principal of the UWI St. Augustine campus and chairman of the board of the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, I take great pleasure in welcoming you all to this inaugural lecture, which kicks off the UE Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business Energy Lecture Series. I know in my salutations, I may not have captured so many czars of the energy industry. Forgive me, but let me say how pleased I am that all of you have seen it important to be here this afternoon. From the outset, I wish to extend a special welcome to our guest of honor this evening, the Minister of Energy and Energy Affairs, Senator, the Honourable Kevin Ramnarine. And let me add, Senator Ramnarine is 3 times an alumnus of the UWI and someone in whom we are very proud. Senator Ramnarine is a graduate in his sciences. He holds a master's degree in petroleum engineering, and he has also done an MBA out of the UWI Artelok Jack Graduate School. So one of a few of our alumni who would have crossed the UWI graduation stage 3 times. In fact, he's in the company of the Honourable Prime Minister who also did that. And he represents a good model for many of you young students to follow. Let me also say that we live in a world where the mantle of leadership must move on. And I'm extremely proud that one of our younger graduates from the UWI has taken on such a leadership role in the energy industry of Trinidad and Tobago, and has taken on with a great deal of passion, but I would also say a great deal of thoughtfulness. Kevin has always demonstrated to me a level of thoughtfulness that I truly admired, because I have seen him as a young student. And I, therefore, would commend him for the good work he's doing. And hopefully in the years to come, he will become one of our very distinguished leaders in the energy and energy affairs of our country, if not already. But we need to recognize and create succession. And these are the young members of our community who will take this industry, this area that is so important for Trinidad and Tobago forward. So my best wishes to you, Honourable Minister. And I'm very pleased that despite your very busy and hectic schedule, you have taken the time to address us on this, our first occasion, on energy trends until 2025. Let me also say that your invitation that you extended to the Lockjaw Graduate School of Business to begin this annual dialogue on energy through the Energy Lecture Series is testament to your commitment, but is also testament to a vision for highlighting and interrogating and thinking about energy within the context of sustainable energy management for Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the region. Your presence also underscores your confidence and support for the UWI Artelok Jack Graduate School of Business and its efforts to inform our country and our region on important issues of development. You know, as I think to the future, I've seen all the leaders who are gathered here in the energy sector, and they all lead from the perspectives of oil and gas and the fossil fuel sector. My hope in the not too distant future that we will see energy leaders here who are gathered in this room who are taking other areas of energy forward, whether it's from the agricultural sector, of which I'm very, very passionate, and I might want to say something in a minute, whether it's from wind or biomass or photovoltaics, but I want to see them in this room in the next not too distant future. If I see them in a room like this in the not too distant future, Trinidad and Tobago and the region would be making a tremendous progress in developing as a sustainable energy country, but as a sustainable society. And in saying that, I couldn't help but observe when I walked through that exhibition, there were a couple of younger people, some of them young graduates of the UWI, who were themselves trying to push new technologies, alternative energy technologies, to support the energy sector and to support the development, sustainable development of our country. And I, again, wish to congratulate that group of young people, young entrepreneurs, who are trying to create a different future for Trinidad and Tobago. I want to also say how pleased I am with the excellent contribution the Lockjaw Graduate School of Business continues to make to the development of our country and region through the conceptualization of lecture series like this on energy, for example. This is one example of the good work that this school continues to do and has been doing for nearly 25 years, and a business school of which we at the university are truly proud of. This is a school that has made a difference to the fortunes of Trinidad and Tobago, as our other business schools at Mona and at Keyville are also doing. One cannot but think in the very recent times some of the good work this school has been doing. For example, the Distinguished Leadership and Innovation Conference, which has earned wide recognition as one of the most dynamic fora for issues linked to innovation, competitiveness, and leadership, through discussion with leading scholars, writers, practitioners, and professionals, such as Michael Porter, Malcolm Gladwell, and yes, just 2 days ago, Daniel Pink, and doing this and speaking to an overflowing audience. In fact, I think many in Trinidad and Tobago put these distinguished lecture series on their calendar as things that they must do, must attend. I was also extremely pleased that the Lockjaw Graduate School of Business was the official host of the Business Association of Latin American Studies Conference 2014 called BALAS, which actually ended this morning. For those of you who may not know, BALAS is the premier international business and economics professional association, which focuses exclusively on the study of economics, management, and leadership, as well as industry in Latin America and the Caribbean. BALAS is strongly international in character, with members from all over the world, from over 30 countries. It is in this context I'm truly pleased to say that our graduate school, the UWI Arthur Lockjaw Graduate School of Business, is the first Caribbean institution to host this conference in its history, and last night I was pleased to host them to a reception, and I'm told it's at least a 20-year-old history. And as such, our university feels a great sense of pride to be responsible for hosting such a prestigious event. I want to truly congratulate the Executive Director of the Arthur Lockjaw Graduate School of Business, Professor Miguel Carrillo. His vision, his leadership, his dynamism, his energy, it really shines through. And that is why we are here today and why there's so much success in the school. And of course, he's supported by a very, very able team. And I want to congratulate all of you, Miguel and your entire team, for the great work you're doing. And I look forward to, and the board look forward to your continued success. Ladies and gentlemen, there can hardly be a more important issue for us than to have a very meaningful conversation in Trinidad and Tobago than in the area of energy. The growth and development of our country post-independence predominantly revolved around our success in the energy industry. But now more than ever before, this area that is so pivotal to our growth and development needs clear attention. I say this because Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean region, together with many countries in the world, are faced with several challenges. With global energy consumption forecast to increase by 56% between 2010 and 2040, according to the International Energy Outlook 2013, we obviously need to find more diverse, and especially in this era in which we are living, more cleaner sources of energy. We need to find more sustainable sources of energy. I should also add that this forecast takes place against the backdrop of the rebound in the US oil and gas production driven by upstream technologies that are unlocking oil and shale gas resources, which are steadily changing the role of North America in the global energy trade. In fact, it has been reported that by 2020, the United States is projected to become the largest global oil producer, overtaking Saudi Arabia. This reality begs a very fundamental question for us in Trinidad and Tobago. What are the implications for an oil exporting country like ours? And what are the implications for the many oil importing countries in the rest of the world? I think these are important issues, and hopefully our learned minister will share some thoughts on these ideas. Let us remember that energy is of importance to all of us, and I'm not going to go through the list of areas where energy is important for us. But we must accelerate our efforts towards renewable sources of energy. That is to say, energy resources that can be naturally replenished with negligible environmental impact, such as wind, solar, hydro, geothermal, ocean and tidal, just to name a few. And let me say, in my earlier days as a young engineer and a young researcher, these were areas of research that truly attracted me. And I do have some passion for these alternative sources of energy, trust me. Cognizant of these realities, I'm truly pleased to note that the UW St. Augustine campus and the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business continues to respond to the needs of Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean region. We do this through the delivery of several types of seminars, workshops, and programs, research and innovation related to sustainable energy management, and several examples come to mind. I am very pleased to let you know, if you didn't know before, that the UW St. Augustine campus, the first in our country, first in our region, launched the Masters of Science degree in Renewable Energy Technology last semester. And we did this in collaboration with two German universities that are doing really excellent work here, University of Flensburg and the Flensburg University of Applied Sciences. And I cannot help but tell you that Germany is really a leading light in the development and utilization of natural sources of energy, particularly wind, biogas, photovoltaics. You drive through the German countryside, you see it. These are not things that are theoretical anymore in places like Germany. They are real. And I think we can learn some real lessons there, and that is why we have collaborated with these German universities. We are confident with programs like these, we can produce graduates who are prepared to help our region leapfrog into the renewable energy technology arena. Another example I can think about, and I see the dean here, Professor Indar Ramnarine Singh. Let me recognize you, Indar. Our campus hosted a workshop on biogas technology and its application just this week at St. Augustine, where we were targeting people like engineers, people from the food industry, farmers, those from waste and waste treatment organizations, including those in agriculture and food waste, those involved in the production of high-quality fertilizer, fuel, and the environment. We were targeting those stakeholders. This workshop, not only taking place in Trinidad, it just concluded here, but over the next 2 weeks, we will be mounting these workshops in Guyana and Suriname as well, which speaks to the commitment of the UWI to serving the wider region. And I myself will be in Guyana during the week, and I will be speaking at one of these workshops. And in Guyana, I am going to speak on the theme of agriculture, energy, and the environment. And let me say to all, that if we are going to truly find a sustainable way forward for energy, the linking of agriculture, not only to food and nutrition, but to energy, the environment, the development of new fertilizers, etc., is something we should put as a priority. I am one of those, and I say this publicly, who in the 80s used to say that we needed to move our sugar industry to the sugarcane industry, an industry that would not only produce food and fiber, but an industry that would produce energy, can be used for fertilizers, a whole range of materials. But you know, some don't listen. And I will say publicly, Trinidad and Tobago has missed a great opportunity with the demise of an industry, because those who were leading this were not visionary enough to see the future. I say it may not be too late. Should we put all our lands, some of our best agricultural lands, under concrete, under galvanized? Will we be able to revert that, to move that to feeding ourselves, for example, and also to create a new source of energy? Agriculture has always been at the bottom of the pile in terms of professions, in terms of activities. But when you link agriculture and energy, you have a wonderful combination that can take you right to the top. Trust me. But that is for another conversation. But we need to think about it in this country, about food and nutrition security, and how we link that also to energy and sustainable development, including developing a great environment. I am also very pleased that the Lockjaw Graduate School developed the MBA in Sustainable Energy Management and all the awards that have come its way in developing this MBA. I want to salute the director of the MBA program, Dr. Zafar Khan, as being selected as one of the top 6 individuals for the International Individual Award in 2013 by the Energy Institute of the United Kingdom. And let me say finally, the Lockjaw Graduate School of Business will soon be launching the Renewable Energy Business Incubator. The intention of this initiative is to grow and nurture companies operating within the emerging sustainable energy sector through the provision of business support, facilitation of access to markets, access to finance, as well as to technology transfer and joint ventures. I cannot help but say that we are very supportive of this, and I hope all of you will support this new renewable business incubator, as the Lockjaw Graduate School itself is promoting business incubation and entrepreneurship in the widest possible areas in Trinidad and Tobago. In closing, thanks, Professor Carrillo, thanks to the school for launching this very meaningful energy lecture series to create this platform for discussion, debate, and discourse on an issue that has and that will continue to affect the lives of people in our country and our region. We at the UWI and the Arthur Lockjaw Graduate School of Business will continue to play this leader in intellectual thought, will continue to play a role in the transferring of new knowledge through fora such as these to inform our people, our companies, our industries, our entrepreneurs, and our societies on new pathways to progress. I want to also thank the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago. The National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago has been showing tremendous foresight among many other companies in our country. They have been showing a leading light in terms of investing for Trinidad and Tobago's future, investing in research, investing in innovation, in investing in seminar and workshops like these. And I want to commend both the chairman and the director, the president of National Gas Company, for the great work you're doing and showing the rest of the business sector what ought to be done in Trinidad and Tobago to move our country into new realms of potential prosperity. Thanks to the Energy Chamber, the Energy Institute of Lockjaw Graduate School of Business for the support in this initiative. And finally, thank you, Senator Ramnarine, for once again making yourself available to delivering this evening's lecture. We look forward to your talk, which I know will always be very insightful and hopefully thought-provoking. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you and I wish you a very enjoyable evening at our graduate school. Thank you very much.
Isn't he wonderful? Would you want to give him another round of applause? I wear a number of different hats